twin moons of Virella 9 shone weakly over the cold desert. Dust moved like ghosts in the wind. The world was dying, no crops, no power, no clean air. Only hunger and fear lived here now. Inside a broken metal hut, two alien sisters sat close together. Their skin was pale silver, glowing faintly under the moonlight. The younger one, Lena, was crying softly. Her tiny stomach growled, the sound mixing with the wind outside. Her older sister, Arya, hugged her tightly. "Don't cry, Lena, I'll find food," Arya whispered. But her voice trembled. She had said that yesterday too, and the day before. Outside there was nothing but empty sand and old war machines half buried in the ground. The great war between humans and Virellans had ended 5 years ago. Humans had won, but the planet was left in ruins. Most aliens died. Those who survived were too weak to fight. Arya looked at Lena's thin arms. She felt her heart break. Her sister was only 8. Arya was 17. Their parents were gone, taken by hunger last winter. Since then, Arya had been both mother and sister. She looked out the door. In the distance, small human lights glowed. The human trade camp. It was dangerous. Many Virellans never came back from there. But humans had food. Real food. She stood up slowly. "Lena, stay here." "Lock the door. Don't open for anyone, okay?" Lena's silver eyes widened. "Where are you going, Arya?" Arya smiled sadly. "To bring you food." The cold bit into her skin as she walked toward the human camp. Her bare feet cut on sharp rocks, but she didn't stop. Every step felt heavier. The world around her was quiet. Too quiet. In the distance, she could hear faint human music. The camp was surrounded by metal walls and flashing lights. A smell of roasted meat filled the air. Her mouth watered. Guards stood near the gate, big men in black suits with guns. They laughed when they saw her. Well, another hungry alien," one of them said, smirking. Arya lowered her head. "Please, I need food for my sister." The guard leaned closer. "Food isn't free, alien girl." "What will you trade?" Arya's heart pounded. She had nothing. No money, no items. Only herself. She looked at the man's cold eyes and whispered, "I'll do." "Anything," the man grinned. "Follow me." Inside the camp, humans sat around fires, drinking and talking. Some looked at Arya with disgust, others with interest. The guard took her to a tent where a man with silver hair sat behind a table full of strange devices. His name was Commander Raiden, the human in charge of the camp. He studied her for a moment. "Another Virellan? You people are still alive?" Arya stayed quiet. Her hands trembled. "What do you want?" he asked. "Food," she said. "My sister is dying." Raiden leaned back in his chair. "And what will you give me for that?" Arya swallowed hard. "Me," the man laughed softly. "You're brave, alien girl. Most just steal and run." "I can clean, work, anything," she said quickly. "Just please." "Food." Raiden's smile faded. He looked at her eyes, pure silver, full of pain but also fire. "Fine," he said finally. "One night's work. You get food." Arya nodded. She didn't ask what kind of work. She didn't want to know. That night, Arya worked in the human kitchen. Her hands shook as she washed metal plates. The humans mocked her strange appearance, but she stayed silent. Her thoughts were only of Lena, her sister waiting in the dark, hungry and scared. When her work was done, Raiden handed her a small metal box. Inside were 2 bread pieces and a protein pack. "For your sister," he said. Arya bowed deeply. "Thank you." She turned to leave, but the man stopped her. "Wait," he said. Arya froze. "You said your sister is young?" "Yes, 8, she said softly. Raiden's eyes narrowed. "Bring her tomorrow. I want to see her." Arya's heart turned to ice. She didn't understand why. But something in his tone made her afraid. Very afraid. As she walked back through the desert night, clutching the food, tears ran down her silver cheeks. She should be happy. She had saved her sister for one more day. But deep inside she knew tomorrow would bring something far worse. And somewhere in the sky above them, a human ship's red light blinked. Watching, recording. To be continued. The twin moons of Virella 9 were still bright when Arya reached the old metal hut. Inside, Lena was awake, sitting near the broken heater. Her tiny body shook from the cold. When Arya opened the box and showed the food, Lena's eyes lit up like stars. "Bread," she gasped. "Real bread." Arya smiled weakly. "Eat, Lena, slowly." The little girl ate carefully, her small hands trembling. Arya watched her in silence. She felt both joy and pain. Joy because her sister was alive. Pain because of the price she had paid. When Lena finished, she hugged her sister tightly. "Thank you, Arya. You're my hero." Arya closed her eyes. If only you knew, she thought. Outside, the wind howled through the metal ruins. The planet was cruel, but humans were worse. Arya looked at the horizon where the camp lights still blinked. Commander Raiden's last words echoed in her head. "Bring your sister tomorrow. I want to see her." She didn't know why he wanted that. Maybe he was kind. Maybe he would help both of them. But deep inside, her instincts screamed, "No human is kind for free." Morning came slowly. A pale sun rose, turning the desert silver. Arya wrapped Lena in a torn blanket. "We'll go to the humans today," she said softly. "Maybe they'll help us both." Lena looked scared. "Humans hate us. Mama said they killed Papa." Arya's throat tightened. "Not all humans are bad, Lena. Maybe this one is different." But her voice shook as she said it. They walked across the cold sands. Every step left a faint glow where their alien skin touched the ground. When they reached the camp gate, the same guard laughed again. "Well, look who came back and brought her little sister." Lena hid behind Arya. The guard pushed a button, and the gate opened with a loud hiss. "Commander Raiden is waiting," he said with a smirk. Inside, humans stared at the two alien girls. Some whispered. Others laughed. Arya held Lena's hand tightly. "Don't look at them," she whispered. "Just stay close." They entered the large tent again. Raiden was sitting behind the same metal table. He looked at them silently for a few seconds, then smiled. "So this is your sister," he said. "She's interesting." Lena hid her face. Arya nodded. "Please, Commander. I worked last night. You gave us food. Thank you, but we have nothing more to trade." Raiden stood up slowly. "Nothing?" he said softly. He walked around the table and stopped close to Arya. She could smell the metallic scent of his uniform. "I could give you both a safe place. Shelter, clean water, real food." Arya looked up. "In return, what do you want?" Raiden smiled faintly. "I want the truth." "The truth?" Arya whispered. "Yes," he said. "Your people used to have something powerful before the war. A core crystal. Energy that humans couldn't control. Where is it?" Arya's heart skipped a beat. The Virellan energy core, their ancient power source. She had heard her father speak about it before the war. It could give life to an entire planet. Or destroy one. "I don't know," she said quickly. Raiden's eyes narrowed. "Don't lie to me. I know your father worked in the core division. He must have told you something." Arya shook her head. "Please, I swear I don't know." Raiden looked down at Lena. "Then maybe your sister remembers?" Lena's eyes widened in fear. I don't know anything." Arya stepped in front of her. "Don't touch her!" For a long moment, no one spoke. Then Raiden sighed. "You're brave, alien girl. I respect that. Take the food for today. But remember, I'll come for answers soon." Outside the tent, Arya's hands were shaking. She knew now. The human didn't want them for kindness. He wanted power. The ancient core was real, and somehow, humans believed her family knew where it was. That night, back in the hut, Lena asked quietly, "Why did he want the crystal, Arya?" Arya looked at the stars through the broken roof. "Because humans never stop wanting more," she said. Lena was silent for a while. Then she whispered, "Are we going to run away?" Arya took her hand. "Not yet. We'll hide first. We'll make a plan." Outside, thunder rolled across the sky, but it wasn't a storm. Far above, human ships were landing, lighting up the desert like fire. Arya stared at the glowing lights in the clouds. "They're coming," she murmured. "And this time they won't stop at food, to be continued." The night sky of Virella 9 burned red with human lights. Large ships moved like dark shadows above the clouds. The ground shook softly with every low rumble from the sky. Inside the broken hut, Arya sat awake. She hadn't slept all night. Her little sister Lena slept beside her, holding a piece of bread like treasure. Arya's eyes were fixed on the stars. She knew now Commander Raiden was not done with them. When the first light of dawn touched the sand, Arya heard a sound. Engines. 3 human scout vehicles passed nearby, leaving dust trails behind. She pulled Lena close. "They're searching," she whispered. Lena blinked sleepily. For us? Arya nodded. They want the core. They think Papa told us where it is. Lena frowned. But Papa only said it was sleeping. Arya looked at her sharply. What did you say? Sleeping, Lena repeated. He said the core sleeps under the heart of the world. I didn't understand. Arya's breath caught. The heart of the world, that was an old legend. The Virellan elders used to speak of a place deep under the deserts, a living cave that glowed with silver light. Maybe it wasn't just a story. She looked outside again. The humans were heading toward the South Ridge. If they reached that place first, everything would be lost. By midday, Arya made a decision. We can't stay here anymore, she said. We'll go to the heart, maybe the core can protect us. Lena looked scared. It's far? Yes, Arya said. But it's our only hope. They packed what little they had, a blanket, a water can, and the empty food box. The desert stretched endlessly before them. The wind blew fine white dust that shimmered like snow. For hours they walked in silence. Their feet burned, their throats dry. Lena stumbled often, but Arya pulled her up each time. Just a little more, she said, though she didn't know how far it was. As the sun began to fall, they reached an old battlefield. Metal skeletons of war machines stood half buried in sand. Rusted ships, broken helmets, the bones of both human and Virellan soldiers. Lena shivered. It feels sad here, Arya nodded. Many died here. Suddenly they heard a voice, a metallic one. Identify yourselves, Arya froze. A small flying drone appeared from behind a fallen ship. Its red eye blinked. She grabbed Lena's hand and ran. The drone followed, shooting bright tracer lights across the sand. Unauthorized Virellans detected. Alerting base. Arya tripped, falling hard. The drone hovered closer. Then a blast of blue light struck it from behind. The drone exploded in sparks. Arya turned and saw a tall figure standing in the smoke. A human man in a damaged suit holding a plasma rifle. Don't move, he said. Arya's heart raced. You're one of them, she cried. The man shook his head. Not anymore. Name's Captain Holt. I deserted the army 2 weeks ago. He looked at the sisters carefully. You're running from Raiden, aren't you? Arya didn't answer, but her silence was enough. Holt sighed. Then we have the same enemy. They sat behind an old shipwreck as night fell again. Holt gave them water from his pack. Lena drank quickly, eyes full of relief. Arya watched the men carefully. Why would a human help us? Holt looked away. Because I saw what Raiden did to others. He says he wants peace, but he only wants the core's power. If he finds it, he'll burn this planet again. Arya's heart tightened. You know about the core? I know enough, Holt said. Your people built it to heal worlds, not destroy them. But humans tried to control it, and it killed thousands. Arya looked down. My father said the same. He died trying to hide it. Holt nodded slowly. Then maybe you're the only one who can find it again, before Raiden does. The ground shook suddenly. Far away, a human search ship hovered low, its light sweeping across the desert. They're close, Holt said. We need to move before sunrise. Arya helped Lena stand. Her legs were weak, but her eyes were bright. Where will we go now? She asked. South, Arya said. To the heart of the world. Holt loaded his weapon. Then let's make sure we get there first. They walked into the darkness, one of a strange trio, 2 alien sisters and a human deserter, bound by survival and secrets. Behind them, Commander Raiden watched their heat signatures on a glowing screen inside his ship. He smiled coldly. Run, little aliens, he murmured. Run to the core, you'll lead me straight to it. The sky above Virella 9 flashed again as more human ships descended, like predators circling their prey. And far below the desert sands, something ancient began to stir. To be continued. Would you like me to continue with part 4, where Arya, Lena, and Holt reach the ancient tunnels beneath the desert and discover what the core really is? You said start with part 4, more unique 700 words, ChatGPT said. Excellent. Hasib, here's part 4 of your HFY Sci-Fi series, written in third person. Around 700 words using simple, emotional English and a gripping flow that builds tension and mystery. The desert of Virella 9 was endless. For 3 days, Arya, Lena, and Captain Holt walked across white sand and broken stone. The sun was cruel by day, and the cold at night bit into their bones. Still, they didn't stop. Somewhere under this wasteland lay the heart of the world, and maybe hope. Arya's silver skin had lost its glow. Each step felt heavier than the last, but every time she looked at Lena's tired little face, she found strength again. Holt walked beside them in silence, scanning the horizon with his cracked visor. On the fourth day, a strange shape appeared in the distance, tall rocks forming a circle, like giant teeth rising from the earth. The old shrine, Holt muttered. The warlog said this place was forbidden even before humans arrived. Arya stared at the stone circle. Symbols glowed faintly on the surface, markings of her people. Her heart pounded. "This is it," she whispered. "The entrance to the heart." They reached the stones as the sun set. The air here felt alive, humming softly like a hidden heartbeat. Lena touched one of the symbols. The stone pulsed gently under her hand, and a faint blue light spread outward. Suddenly the ground trembled. A circular door of sand and metal opened between the stones, revealing stairs leading deep underground. Lena gasped. "It's opening for us." Arya looked down into the glowing passage. "Then it remembers who we are." Holt checked his weapon. "Let's go before Raiden's scanners find us." The tunnel was narrow and filled with silver light. The walls seemed alive, pulsing with slow waves of energy. Lena's eyes were wide with wonder. "It's beautiful," Arya nodded. "This is virulent tech. It grows like a living thing." As they walked deeper, the air grew warm and thick. Old murals covered the walls, pictures of Virulon standing beside humans, building cities together. Holt stopped. "They worked with us once?" Arya touched one of the drawings. "Yes, long before the war, before humans tried to take the core." She turned away, sadness in her eyes. "We could have been allies." After hours of walking, the tunnel opened into a massive chamber. It was like standing inside a giant crystal heart. Blue light streamed through veins in the walls, meeting at the center, where a floating sphere of silver energy pulsed slowly. "The core," Holt breathed. It looked alive, breathing light and shadow with every beat. Arya stepped closer. She felt warmth wash over her like a voice whispering in her mind. "Welcome, child of Virella," she gasped and fell to her knees. "Arya!" Lena cried. Arya's mind filled with images, cities rising from the sand, her people creating life with the core's power. Then she saw fire, war, and human ships raining destruction. The voice grew faint. "Balance must return. Choose wisely." Then the vision ended. Arya opened her eyes. Holt knelt beside her. "What happened?" She looked at him, tears shining in her silver eyes. "It spoke to me. The core is alive." Lena touched the glowing floor. "Can it save our world?" Arya hesitated. "Maybe, but it said something about balance. It can also destroy if used wrongly." Holt frowned. "Then Raiden must never reach it." A sudden boom echoed through the tunnels. The ground shook violently. Dust fell from the ceiling. Arya's eyes widened. "He found us." Above them, Commander Raiden's ships had landed near the stone circle. Explosions tore through the desert as soldiers poured into the tunnels. Raiden walked at the front, his face lit by the glow of his scanner. "They're close," he said. "Bring me the sisters alive." Down below, Holt took position near the entrance. "Go to the core," he shouted. "I'll hold them off." Arya grabbed his arm. "You'll die," he smiled faintly. "I already left my world behind. At least now I'll protect yours." Before she could answer, human troops entered the tunnel. Gunfire flashed, echoing through the chamber. Holt returned fire, shouting, "Run!" Arya pulled Lena toward the core. Energy surged around them as bullets hit the glowing walls and vanished into light. "Arya, I'm scared," Lena cried. "Don't be," Arya said, touching the core. "It knows us." The core responded, its light spreading like waves of silver fire. Machines melted, walls shifted, and a deep sound filled the chamber. The soldiers stopped shooting. Even Raiden stared in shock as the floor cracked open and light rose like smoke. Holt shouted from the entrance, "What's it doing?" Arya looked at the core. "It's waking up." The light grew brighter, blinding, alive, and ancient. A soft, calm voice echoed through every mind, human and alien alike. "Balance begins now." When the light faded, Arya was standing alone. The core floated silently before her, its glow steady but soft. Lena was gone. So was Holt, so was Raiden's army. Only silence remained. "Lena," she whispered, her voice breaking. But only the echo answered her. And deep inside the core's light, something moved in a small shadow glowing like a child's heart. To be continued. The chamber was silent. Only the soft hum of the core echoed through the air, like a heartbeat from another world. Arya stood in the middle of the glowing room, her body trembling, eyes wide with fear and confusion. Her sister Lena was gone. The human soldiers were gone. Even Captain Holt had vanished. Only the core remained, floating, shining, alive. "Lena?" Arya called, her voice shaking. No answer. Only the low vibration of light around her. She fell to her knees. "Please, bring her back." The core pulsed once. Slow, bright, almost gentle. Then a whisper filled her mind. "She is not gone. She is becoming," Arya gasped. "Becoming what?" The core didn't answer, but the silver light around it began to change, forming shapes, moving like water. Arya stepped back, eyes wide. The light gathered in one place, spinning faster and faster until finally a small figure began to appear inside it. A child. "Lena," Arya whispered. The glow faded, revealing a small girl standing barefoot on the crystal floor. Her skin still shimmered faintly silver, but her eyes glowed gold, bright like the core itself. Lena smiled faintly. "Arya!" Arya ran forward and hugged her tightly. "You're alive! Thank the stars." But when she touched Lena's skin, she felt warmth and energy. Too strong, almost electric. "Lena, what happened to you?" Lena looked around the chamber. "I heard a voice. It told me not to be afraid. It said I could help." "Help?" Arya asked softly. Lena nodded. "It showed me everything. The humans, the war, the pain. And it said I could fix it." Arya stepped back, her heart pounding. "Fix it? How?" Before Lena could answer, the ground shook again, the tunnels above rumbling like thunder. Arya looked up. "He's back." Above, Commander Raiden stood among ruins and smoke. His soldiers were gone, but he was alive, burned, wounded, but furious. His scanner beeped wildly. Energy readings off the charts. "She's inside the core," he muttered. The alien girl fused with it. He picked up his communicator. "Prep the ship. I want the entire chamber extracted." Down below, the walls cracked open again. Dust and fire fell as human machines started drilling through the upper tunnels. Arya grabbed Lena's hand. "We have to leave." But Lena shook her head. "No, Arya, the core says it's time." "Time for what?" "For balance." The chamber's light grew stronger. The core floated higher, glowing like a sun. Lena stepped closer, her golden eyes fixed on it. Arya tried to pull her back. "Lena, stop. You don't know what it'll do." But Lena smiled softly. "It's part of me now." The ceiling exploded. Raiden's dropship tore through the stone, sending shards flying everywhere. He jumped down, his armor cracked and glowing red from heat. When he saw Lena standing near the core, his eyes widened. "So it's true," he whispered. "The core chose you." Arya stepped in front of her sister. "Stay away from her." Raiden raised his weapon. "You don't understand, alien girl. That thing can end the war. It can make humans gods." Lena tilted her head. "No, it can make everyone free." Raiden aimed his gun at her. "Then I'll take it myself." He fired. The blast hit Lena square in the chest, but instead of falling, she absorbed it. The light spread across her body, brighter and brighter, until it burst outward in a shockwave of pure energy. Raiden was thrown across the chamber, slamming into the wall. His armor cracked open. Arya covered her face from the blinding light. When the glow faded, Lena was floating above the floor, eyes golden, hair glowing like threads of light. The core's energy pulsed through her veins. Arya looked up in awe and fear. "Lena, what are you?" Lena's voice echoed, calm and powerful. "I am the bridge between what was broken." Raiden struggled to stand. "You're a weapon," he growled. "You were made to destroy." Lena looked at him, her eyes sad. "No, I was made to heal." She lifted her hand. The ground trembled and the walls began to move and alive again, reshaping the chamber. Outside, the desert cracked open as light spread across the surface of Varela 9. Dead plants began to rise from the sand. The planet itself was waking up. Raiden screamed and fired again, but his bullets melted in midair. The core's light swallowed him whole, turning his body into dust and flame. Arya watched in horror. "Lena, stop!" Lena looked at her sister. He wanted to burn the world. "I'm giving it back." The core's voice echoed again in both their minds. "The balance must choose its guardian." Lena looked down at Arya. It chose me. Arya fell to her knees, tears falling down her cheeks. But you're just a child. Lena smiled softly. Not anymore. The light around her grew stronger, too bright to look at. Then with one final flash, both Lena and the core vanished. The chamber fell silent once more. Arya stood alone, staring at the empty air where her sister had been. The desert above was alive again, but Arya's heart was hollow to be continued. The desert was green now. Grass shimmered where there was once only dust. Rivers ran like silver veins across the land of Virella 9, and strange new trees bent under heavy blue fruit, but Arya felt no peace. She stood on a high ridge, the wind tugging at her torn cloak. The world had healed, yet her heart had not. It had been 30 days since the core exploded in light. 30 days since Lena vanished. Every night Arya dreamed of her sister's voice and soft, distant calling from somewhere inside the light, and every morning she woke alone. Humans no longer ruled the planet. Their machines had stopped working the day the core awakened. Many fled into orbit. Some stayed, trying to survive under the new skies. But among those who remained, whispers had begun to spread. They spoke of a gold-eyed child seen in the forests, glowing, silent, followed by strange energy storms. They called her the living core. To the humans she was a ghost. To the Virellans she was a sign. To Arya she was hope. That evening Arya entered what used to be a human outpost. Broken metal towers leaned over fields now covered in flowers. Inside the ruins she found survivors, both human and alien, living together under one flag made from torn fabric. An old man recognized her. "You're the alien girl who walked out of the core storm," he said. Arya nodded slowly. "I'm looking for someone, a child. Silver skin, golden eyes." The man's eyes widened. "I saw her," he whispered. 2 nights ago, near the ruins of the old capital. She wasn't walking, she was floating, and everything around her was alive. "Alive?" Arya asked. "She touched a dead tree," the man said, "and it grew fruit." Arya's heart leapt. "Where is this capital?" "East," the man said. "But be careful. Humans are hunting her now. They fear what she's become." Arya left before dawn. The journey east was long, through glowing rivers, crystal fields, and forests that seemed to breathe. Everywhere she went, the world felt alive. The core's power was everywhere, but she also saw human camps burned to ashes, machines twisted into vines. Some humans prayed to the sky, others cursed it. On the 5th night, she reached the ruins of the capital, once a great human city, now swallowed by nature. The air was heavy with energy. The streets glowed faintly, alive with golden dust. Arya walked carefully through the ruins. "Lena," she called softly. "It's me." "Your sister." No answer. Only wind through the empty towers. Then, from the distance, a faint light flickered. Arya followed it. In the center of the city stood a massive statue, half broken, a human warrior carved from stone. And at its feet was Lena. Her golden eyes glowed faintly in the dark. Her hair moved like threads of light. She was barefoot, her small hands touching the stone, and wherever she touched, the dead rock turned into living crystal. Arya froze. "Lena!" The child turned slowly. Her voice was soft but echoed like wind in a cave. "Arya!" Arya ran forward, but as she got closer, the air between them shimmered with invisible power. "Stop," Lena said gently. "I can't let you touch me." Arya's heart broke. "Why? You're my sister." "I'm not just that anymore," Lena said. "The core is inside me. I feel everything in the trees, the water, the stars. If you touch me, you'll burn." Arya's eyes filled with tears. "Then how do I save you?" Lena smiled sadly. "You don't. I'm not the one who needs saving now. The humans, they're coming again. This time they're afraid." Arya heard the sound then. Engines in the distance cutting through the night. She turned and saw lights in the sky. "Human ships, hundreds of them. They think the core will destroy them," Lena whispered. Arya shook her head. "You can stop this. You can talk to them." "They won't listen," Lena said. "Fear has made them blind." The air around her began to glow brighter. The ground vibrated. Arya reached out, tears streaming down her face. "Please, Lena, don't fight them." Lena looked at her sister one last time. "I'm not fighting. I'm protecting what's left." A brilliant golden aura surrounded her, rising like a storm into the sky. Arya shielded her eyes as the clouds burst open with light. High above, the human fleet stopped moving. Engines froze. Power died, and one by one their ships began to fall, not in fire but in silence, landing softly like feathers upon the green earth. When the light faded, Lena was gone again. But the world was safe. Arya fell to her knees, crying softly. Lena, my little star. In the distance, among the fallen ships, a golden light blinked once, like an eye opening in the dark. To be continued. The sky above Varela 9 was golden. No longer dark, no longer red, it shimmered with quiet peace. The war was over. But for Arya, peace still felt far away. She walked across a meadow where machines once stood. Now flowers grew from the wreckage. Human ships lay silent, covered in moss. Their metal hearts had stopped forever. And yet, she could still feel Lena's energy in the air. Soft, alive, watching. Every leaf that moved, every gust of wind that touched her face. It all felt like Lena. The world was breathing again. But Arya's heart was heavy. She wandered for days until she reached the remains of the core chamber. It was now a mountain of crystal, glowing faintly from within. Birds, my real birds, uncircled above it singing. Arya placed her hand on the warm surface. Lena, she whispered. You did this. You saved us. But why did it have to take you away? For a moment, nothing happened. Then a soft light moved under the crystal, like something stirring deep below. A familiar voice filled her mind. I'm still here, Arya. Her eyes widened. Lena, is it really you? Yes, the voice said gently, but I'm not the same. I am part of the core now. I can see everything. The humans, the rivers, even you. Tears rolled down Arya's cheeks. Then come back, please, just for a moment. There was a pause. If I leave this place, the balance will break. The world will die again. Arya fell to her knees. You were just a child. You shouldn't have to carry all this. Someone had to, Lena replied. And you carried me once when I couldn't walk. Now it's my turn to carry the world. A sudden explosion cut through the silence. Arya turned sharply. Smoke rose from the forest behind her. Humans. A group of armed soldiers appeared from the trees, survivors from the fleet. Their leader, Major Kor, shouted, Step away from the core, alien. Arya stood her ground. There's no need for war anymore. Kor raised his weapon. That core killed millions. We'll end it for good. Arya shook her head. You don't understand. It's not a weapon. It's life itself. The humans spread out, planting charges along the crystal ground. From above, the sky darkened, thunder without clouds. Arya heard Lena's voice again, urgent now. They're going to destroy everything. I can stop them, but it will cost everything I am. Arya's chest tightened. No, Lena, please. There has to be another way. There isn't. The soldiers armed their weapons. Fire! Kor yelled. Bolts of plasma hit the crystal surface, but instead of breaking, the core absorbed them. The ground shook violently. Golden light began to pour out from the cracks, rising like fire. Arya screamed over the roaring wind. Lena, don't do this! The voice came again, calm, brave, and full of love. I have to, Arya. They'll never stop. But if I burn bright enough, they'll remember. And they'll change. The light grew stronger, swallowing the forest, the mountains, the sky itself. The soldiers fell to their knees, dropping their weapons as their helmets filled with white noise and static. The air itself sang, a sound like laughter and tears together. And through that storm, Arya saw her sister one last time. Lena's small figure made of light, smiling gently. Thank you for finding me, she said. Then she turned, lifted her hand toward the heavens, and the core exploded in pure golden energy. The blast covered the entire planet, but it did not destroy. It transformed. Every gun turned to dust. Every dead seed burst into bloom. Every scar in the earth closed with green light. The humans dropped to the ground, sobbing, not in pain, but in peace. The war was truly over. When the light faded, the core was gone. Only a single golden flower grew in its place, shining softly under the twin suns. Arya picked it up carefully. Inside its petals glowed a faint heartbeat. Lena, she whispered. You're still here. The wind carried her words through the valleys and mountains, across the rivers, into the hearts of humans and aliens alike. For the first time in history, both species felt the same thing, understanding. Years later, Legends would tell of the Golden Child, the girl who became the core, who ended the war not by power but by love. But Arya never called her that. To her, she would always be Lena, the little sister who once cried for food under 2 moons, and grew up to feed an entire world with light. As the sun set over the green horizon, Arya smiled through her tears. "Sleep well, my little star," she whispered. "Your world is safe now." And somewhere in the golden wind a soft voice answered, "Always, the end."